Welcome to Absolutely PlayStation to Steam Gamers. My name is Benny. That is Houston. That is Shank. And Houston, it finally happened. What happened to you today before we talk about Ubisoft Forward? You became a YouTuber.
Dressed like an adult. Oh!
Yeah, Andrew.
I am officially a YouTuber. Somebody tweeted at me asking for content. And I'm going to deliver that content.
Are you now? Are you like, I can't not on my first one.
It's one, you know? I got to get it going so everybody starts following, asking for content. I swear I'll do them all.
But today we're going to talk about Ubisoft Forward. And Dylan's head out of this one because a lot of this stuff is games that we've all actually played. And it's mostly just more live service games, which Dylan doesn't play a lot of. He plays them here and there, but not a lot of. So let's get into the... What is it that Keemstar guy does? Let's get into the news! Elle said I look like him with my beard.
I feel like I should be doing like finger guns or something.
News!
News. All right, so first up, we've got For Honor. It's Heathmore has been stricken with drought in Year 5 Season 2, titled Mirage. Basically, they kicked off by promoting the new seasonal thing.
Yep.
I don't have much more to say because I actually really enjoy For Honor. Huey and I had this weird bout where we just kept playing For Honor, trying to get really good at it.
It's fun, but there's no real story. I'll probably get crap from the For Honor fans. Like, there's a story there, but I don't feel like there is.
It's barely there. It's barely there.
Doing a mission every couple weeks isn't a story.
Is that?
That's all.
Oh, okay. I was like, it sounded like you stopped mid-sentence.
That's all I got.
I did stop mid-sentence, but the sentence didn't keep going up here, so...
So we're going to keep going down these quick announcements, and then we'll get to the big beef of today's video, which is Extraction. Crew 2 is celebrating its third anniversary by giving players the opportunity to acquire the Chevrolet Corvette C8 Stingray 2020 for only 1 Crew credit until June 30th. And a live summit event. I actually really enjoyed the Crew games. Huey and I tried to get back into that one.
It's true.
And we just go through these bouts where we want to play Crew. This is cool, but none of it. Same thing with For Honor. It doesn't really add much. It's like, here's another car. I don't know. Live service, car game and live service, combat game, they could be so good. I don't know. It's hard to say what's going on with these. I enjoy both those games, but nothing in there holds me for more than a couple of months. So
I mean, I'm sure they've got their fan base.
Oh yeah, otherwise they would.
I've tried it. Yeah. I've tried it. I can play it for a couple hours and then quickly move on. So
that's the issue I have with those. So next up, we got Brawlhalla has now announced Cowabunga as they are getting a crossover with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
With Brawlhalla.
That's awesome. I haven't played Brawlhalla. I know of Brawlhalla. I know what it is.
Yeah, Brawlhalla is basically like Smash Bros, but for PC gamers, and they're getting the Turtles. Next up on our list of just content coming to games, Watch Dogs Legion Bloodline is coming out July 6th. I liked Watch Dogs Legion. It just has so many problems. It was one of those games that when I beat it, I was kind of done and just moved on, and that was that. What about you, Shake? I think you played that one, didn't you?
No, I've never played Watch Dogs, so...
All right. Well, Huey, you did.
Well, my biggest problem with it is I didn't have a character to follow.
Yeah.
I kept recruiting a new one, and then I would use them, and then I'd recruit another person, and I'd use them. There was no main protagonist, in my opinion.
No, that was my
I fell
biggest
off
complaint.
of it pretty fast because I didn't get attached to a character.
I did when I realized that was my problem by being only one guy for the whole entire rest of the game and ignoring the core gameplay loop that they said is so interesting. The whole gameplay loop was recruiting more people and using their skills, Shank, and instead I was one guy who was not good at stealth but good with guns. So if I had to stealth, it was a challenge, and like my guy was the one I was following, and it was fun. So
how many different players do you have for that game?
you can recruit
As many as you recruit.
Yeah, they said it's like up to 1,000 or something.
Yeah, anybody you see in the streets, you could recruit.
Yeah. So now to the beef of our discussion, okay? Rainbow Six Extraction is the first of the big titles that got a lot of conference time. I am stupidly excited for this. So If you don't know what Extraction is, it's also called Rainbow Six COVID because it's about a virus outbreak that gets contained and Six Squad has to go in. If you don't know who Six Squad is, Rainbow Six Siege is basically a hero shooter with realistic military. Huh?
I don't know why you said basically a hero shooter.
Because it is.
It's a hero shooter. Not basically, it is a hero
Some people
shooter.
argue against that because of the way they do it.
Well, they're wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're wrong. It's a hero shooter. Every single character has powers that are unique to them. It is a hero shooter.
Right. They're not like shooting magic out of their fingers, but they do have their own specific skill sets. So, I mean, definitely qualifies.
But yeah, so I've been a huge fan of it. Out of all the hero shooters, it's my favorite. I really do enjoy Siege. But I always get into it for a couple of weeks and then quickly fall off. And Huey, you've been there with that ride with me and so Shank before.
I do it every time too.
Yeah, it's a blast. We have a great time with it, but the skill gap is huge in that game because it's giant in the esports circuit. So it's the kind of game that people devote their entire lives to playing. Like, they figure out that one hole in that one corner to pick you off, and you're just like, I didn't even know this existed. Like, and I'm not going to remember it next time.
I mean, I'm bad enough at PvP games without a huge skill gap like that. Every time I go in there, I'm just like miserable. I'm like, can we please just fight the horde mode?
Yeah. So,
and that looks almost exactly what this is like.
Yes.
It looks like it's a huge horde mode.
So what Ubisoft has done over the last couple of years is start to develop an actual story behind Siege. And the story is that there's a guy who runs the organization and builds up this elite team in case they're ever needed. Well, since it was just a PvP show, I forget his name. I actually think it's Six. I think it's Six is what they call him now. It was one person. They rotated it over, but I do follow it, but the story pretty much has always been they have these teams, they've been built up to take out things if they get bad. Well, that bad thing has happened, and it's a separate game, and that's why I'm excited. So the same characters are now going in to stop this zombie threat in a horde mode. And it looks like it's almost roguelike, because they mentioned in the trailer there, go in with your team and either leave to get better tech or see how far you can go. To me, that says co-op roguelike game. What do you guys think?
I agree 100%. When I saw this, I was like, okay, this is a Rainbow Six I can get into. And the fact that they're using like the same characters.
Yes.
Like you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of this whole thing they're doing with Overwatch, where they're like, okay, Overwatch PvP is still going to be there. We're still going to be developing content for that game, but we're going to start developing our own thing over here for people who aren't into the competitive shooter genre. We've been talking about how a lot of games have been moving away from the competitive shooter genre, but I feel like Rainbow really can't do that because they're kind of like one of the premier competitive shooters.
Yeah.
So how do you get around that? You make an entirely separate new game that is distinctly PvE focused for your fans who want more PvE in your game.
I would love to use characters like Habana, and blow through the wall, or go with Sledge, take down a doorway while a zombie's running at me, or like the really crazy ones that Huey always plays and has no idea how their gadgets work.
I know how they work. They're just not useful. So I'm just reading a little bit about it right now. It's 3 people co-op. So it's a team of 3.
This is our group.
There we go. Got
and it doesn't say everybody, but the main cast is Ash, Mira, and Thermite. But it also says a squad composed of Rainbow Six operators who have joined Ash, Mira, and Thermite.
The gameplay trailer shows Habana and Sledge as well.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah. So the gameplay trailer is them rescuing Habana. Yeah. So she's in there. Because apparently, like, you go with...
You got to rescue them to use them.
Right. Well, that's what actually it looks like. The way that this is all based on theories from the gameplay trailer they showed. But they showed them going in, and they were like, see how far you can get. And Sledge got bound up and then was there. And then they were like, stage another rescue to go get Sledge. So it looks to me like you'll have your roster of people. And if they get caught, well... Huey, you want to meet up tonight? We got to go rescue my Habana so that we can try this route when we're going down. I lost her last night.
I don't need Habana.
I was being stupid and went solo, And knowing Ubisoft, I could probably just buy to get her out for $10, but...
Well, more likely, let's be honest, it's going to be a live service, and each season they're going to introduce 2 or 3 more characters because everybody's somebody's favorite character. So eventually they're going to add the entire roster back in. Because, they've been building up all this huge character roster. Why would you not take advantage of that in a game like this?
Well, it's super easy for them, too. They just got to transfer them over. It's kind of what Blizzard's doing with Overwatch 2, where they're like, it's going to be PvE focused. Yeah. We already made the characters. Now we're just going to move them over.
They're designed. Everything's done with them.
Yeah.
Now we just got to put out some marketing.
Yeah.
Well, the marketing went dead because basically this was Rainbow Six COVID. It's Extraction now. It was called Outbreak originally.
It's ironic, though, because, it doesn't look... like it's a zombie game.
Well, yeah, but the plot is that of Outbreak happens and everyone has and at the time
Resident Evil came out with games during COVID. Nobody drew a corollary there, and that's literally about a virus that breaks out and infects people.
I guarantee it just wasn't ready.
Yeah, I guarantee it wasn't ready.
They used COVID as an excuse.
They used COVID as an excuse and they renamed it, and I think that's exactly what it is. Because this was in the roster of games that have been pushed back for multiple years. I think. Just because they're trying to make sure it's perfect. Ubisoft said a while ago they're done cranking out as many games as possible. They're going to focus in on core experiences. And they slowed down production of a lot of games to get them really solid. Which is, I think, why I'm excited about this, because it doesn't feel like a cash grab. It doesn't feel like they were just like, just make something PvE and put it out. You know what I mean? Like,
right. It feels like they've been working on this for a while. I don't know what it was about the trailer, but like, It does feel like this is something that they've actually had in the development pipeline for a while, and that it's going to be its own unique, distinct experience. So
it doesn't look like Outbreak's first trailer did either. It looks like they just changed the whole idea of it, and they're using COVID as an excuse.
Yeah. It looks like this rogue-like approach to it to give repeatable PvE content is going to be probably one of the aspects we love about it, but it does look like one of the things that was added in later. If that is even an aspect. Maybe I misread the trailer. I do find it hilarious, though. Way back in the day, one of the producers for Rainbow Six Siege, the competitive PvP shooter, said straight up, we will never make a PvE mode in Siege because we will not dedicate the resources to do that. We're going to focus entirely on esports. Like we said, loophole. Never mentioned having a separate game.
Siege. He said in
we will
Siege.
hire a new team and make a new game.
All right, so moving down the list here, Siege is Extraction. I'm stupidly excited for. Next up, we got Rocksmith, which I feel is going to be their attempt to kind of capitalize on what happened to all the Rock Guitar Hero games.
Oh no, Rocksmith isn't new.
It's not?
Rocksmith has been around for a while. This is their live service, Rocksmith, now.
My bad.
There's a subscription to it and everything. It teaches you how to play guitar as opposed to the Guitar Heroes, Rock Bands, and everything. That was a plastic guitar with 4 to 5 buttons.
I do remember Rocksmith when it first came out. And they were like, this is how we're going to separate from those. We're going to teach you how to play a real instrument instead of...
Yeah. So this, from what I've read and saw about it, I skipped over most of it because I don't care that much about Rocksmith. It is a probably live service because they're probably going to add songs and stuff for you to learn. But there's a subscription to it. It's not just buy the game.
Ubisoft's still leaning towards
game.
that. Ubisoft is still leaning towards the live service. I mean, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they announced a whole ton of stuff coming out to that. And it's all live service inclusions. So,
I mean, it's not even being marketed on the website I'm on as a game. It's marketed as an interactive music learning subscription service. Like, this reminds me of like those like foreign language learning like software that you can download. Like,
well, you know what? I will say, and there's one thing I actually do like about Ubisoft, and I know they get a lot of crap. They still have never given up on like the educational style games. I'm going to segue this to a little farther down my list here, because that's teaching how to play guitar. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has now introduced its own Discovery Tour. Now, if you don't know what that is, and that's what's going to be coming out, that was their big thing other than the first expansion happening, or the next expansion happening. Well, if you don't know what that is in Origins and in Odyssey, Discovery Tour allowed you to become basically any character in the universe and explore the history of the areas they made. The one in Valhalla is actually going to have a game in it now where you can learn and live the life of the people in Valhalla. So they're making an entire game in Valhalla to teach you Viking history. Like, this is the same company doing Rocksmith Plus where they're teaching you to play guitar. I applaud them for this because who else cares about teaching you this stuff at this point?
I mean, especially because they're using a real guitar here. And we'll get back to the Assassin's Creed. I'm not ignoring your Assassin's Creed point, but we'll finish up with Rocksmith. Like, I mean, I've always wanted to learn to play guitar. Like, I honestly would be down for at least trying it out.
The company will fund this for you, Shank, and you can tell me if you learn guitar. If I could get you out of Destiny and it's to learn guitar, screw it. We got you out of Destiny.
Why does the conversation always return?
Just ignore we're gonna ignore Destiny.
It's him.
The original.
It's not me.
I know it's not you. I'm not blaming you, Shank. This is 100% Benny. I'm going back to your talk. I'm ignoring him. Anyway, when it originally came out, it comes with a cord you connect into the computer or console that will track where your strumming and your fingers are. I don't know how it tracks that perfectly because I don't know how guitar electronics work, but it shows you if you're playing the game, like the song correctly and whatnot.
You probably can recognize pitch.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's a good point.
So you can use your own guitar for this,
Yep.
or do you have to use
No,
like
you
the
have
proprietary?
To. You have to have a guitar. It does not come with a guitar.
Okay, I just want to make sure you didn't have to purchase their proprietary guitar.
No.
You have to purchase their
'cause
cord.
that would be messed
but-
up. Well, the cord I understand.
Oh, me too.
The guitar, no.
You can any guitar you own already, as long as can connect electronically, can be used, and bass as well.
Hey, if something can finally teach me guitar, I will have fulfilled a high school dream of mine that just went unfulfilled. So,
Insert Destiny joke. All right, moving on. No, but the Valhalla thing, it ties into that. Ubisoft has always kind of done these like learning kind of experiences, and they try to find ways to make learning interesting and fun. The Discovery Tour is being added into Valhalla finally, but it's all about if you just love the history of the world and you want to learn about it. I did the one in Origins and I did the one in Odyssey, and it was a lot of fun. So it's going to be really interesting that they're continuing to go in this direction, teach you guitar, teach you history of the Vikings, teach you, you know what I mean?
right. So these Discovery Tours, because I only just found out about them this week. Like, is it like
They always come out a year later, that's why.
Is it like minus all the like mythical stuff
Yep.
that's in, and it's just like educational content?
It's so what they did in the first two was you could be any character you wanted that they've created, so you could just walk around, and what you would do is you could go anywhere you want in the world. You could go there and they would give you a narration explaining the true history and what they altered for the sake of the game. One of the best examples I found was I was playing Odyssey, and I went to Rome, or the main area, the main city that's there. And I walked into it, and they started explaining Roman lore, Roman history, but then they very quickly pointed out women are being involved in a lot of the studies here, and the women are being involved over here. Historically, women were not incorporated into any of these things, but we decided to change this for the sake of, inclusion into our game. But this is how the real history was. Real history did not include these. So one of the complaints that I have with a lot of people wanting to include in everything, especially historical content, is that's not how history was, and we're erasing history. We need to remember our mistakes so we don't repeat them. So I like the Discovery Tours because they complement what they changed. So this was changed. Here's the true history.
It acknowledges those mistakes. I gotta really applaud Ubi for that. Ben.
Benny didn't pay much attention because clearly he doesn't know Greece from Rome.
There you go.
Odyssey takes place in Greece.
The Romans are there, in my defense.
But it's not Rome.
Okay. But what they're doing for Valhalla, so I'm assuming the Discovery Tours did well. Valhalla's now is basically going to make it so that the area is alive on its own.
That's a tough one.
What?
Because there's not a lot of real history about Vikings out there.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting because
there is, but it's
convoluted. It's messed up. If you know the true history of Vikings, the stories are not the true histories. The stories are created by the people that they conquered. And I loved a historian I was watching one time worded it best. The reason why the Vikings are, told as these imposing, burly men who show up with shield maidens and beards and they're 6'5" and full of muscle is because they were actually farmers and most of them were really pathetic looking, but you don't want to tell your friends that you lost a war against a bunch of pathetic looking farmers. That
Sounds like a Tuesday.
But one of the feature that they're adding to Valhalla's Discovery Tour, which I really like, is you can be one of the villagers or whatever and see what their life is like and actually like reenact their whole livelihood.
Probably pretty great until the Vikings showed up.
Yeah, that sounds like a horrible idea. I would rather know what it was like to live on the ship, please.
It's a cool idea to add in though, and I like that they're taking it further. They're not just redoing it again. Let's get over to, we'll go back up here. So we'll do Just Dance 2022 because I know none of us care about Just Dance.
It's another Just Dance game.
Are we gonna just gloss over Siege of Paris coming out?
They didn't say much about it. It's the next expansion. We've known about it since launch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been on the roadmap. So we had Druids just came out, Wrath of the Druids. Siege of Paris was already known to be the next one. So
no new information. That's upsetting.
They showed a quick scene, like bombing of the walls, and that was it.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Dance, another Just Dance game. If you're a fan of that franchise and it has a huge following, it's just not us.
Got another one.
It's just not us.
If you were surprised, I'm surprised you were surprised because they come out every year.
Shank, is this going to be... So if we'll get you Rocksmith, but you also have to try the new Just Dance. Are you on board?
Oh, my God. Guys,
My
hold
dude,
on.
I am a 30-year-old big boy. Like, no.
You and your
I'm
wife
not.
can play Just Dance and tell me about the experience.
I'm
All
not
I'm
getting
saying-
my fat ass out of this chair.
This is the first Just Dance that's not on the Wii.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh.
It came out on the Wii last year.
Wait,
Well,
the Wii?
in their defense,
Yes, the Wii.
In their defense, like the Wii. Like,
Oh, no,
why would
I
you?
agree. But I guarantee one of their biggest markets was the Wii game.
So, all right, moving on then to the next game on this list. I'm going to do Far Cry 6 first, and then we'll end with Riders Republic. And if I missed anything, it's not on my list. You guys can chime in there.
Mario and Rabbids, Spark of Hope.
It's actually not on my recap.
What?
Werewolves Within.
Oh,
And
I'm
Avatar.
I'm looking at the Xbox one. Guess what's not coming to Xbox?
Oh, well, of course it's not going to be on that one. Go to the Ubisoft website.
I didn't realize. I looked up
Dummy.
and it's news.xbox. Yeah, they're not going to tell you about Mario and Rabbids.
I mean, we could talk about Far Cry 6 first, though.
Far Cry 6. So, Far Cry 6 looks awesome. I like the fact you have a villain. They showed off the season pass, which seems to be focused on those villains in the previous games. I kind of like that idea.
It was a great idea, but the one thing I said to you when it was happening, when did Far Cry go sci-fi?
Have you not
Because
played
it's
Blood
all-
Dragon?
No, but that's literally the whole point of Blood Dragon.
Have you not played Blood
Wasn't
Dragon?
Far Cry always? Sci-fi?
No, there's no weird powers or anything like that.
Far Cry actually
I'm
originally
pretty
had
sure
it.
you
Yeah,
like
it started
get,
with
you
those.
Oh, is
like
there?
take like spaceship guns in Far Cry. Was that 4 or 5? Like
Oh.
there's like spaceships that
Trying
like
to
crash,
get
and you
very
can pick
far
up like a
into Far
laser
Cry.
gun.
And the second game in the entire franchise involved you getting animal powers.
Well, I'm out.
I don't think animal powers are sci-fi. I think that's fantasy, but we'll
Same
allow
thing.
it.
You still got animal powers. That doesn't change that.
I mean,
no,
I've been sold on Far Cry 6 since they announced Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, yeah.
Same here.
Like I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan. Like I know that's not like a hot take or anything, but like
He's a fantastic actor.
anything he's in, I'm immediately sold on.
Right.
Because he's just, especially when he's the villain like this, he's just that much of a presence that he alone is probably going to sell me
I
in this game.
personally think he's going to be the best villain since Voss.
Yeah. I can
Because the
see
past villains haven't really been that memorable.
You didn't like Joseph?
I didn't mind him, but compared to Voss and stuff
Well,
like that,
yeah.
it just doesn't have the same impact.
that. Yeah, I'll give you that. It's interesting when it comes to the Far Cry discussion because Far Cry is just... I don't even know what happened to Far Cry. It was not like this originally. Whoa, that got dark. I'm trying to find what happened to my stuff. It wasn't like this originally, and to go into all the villains, I like what Far Cry does with his villains because you feel the villains, you see them, you know what they are. But it reminds me of by going for this big name. It reminds me of when Call of Duty did Kevin Spacey, and it's like Kevin Spacey's in 4 of the cutscenes. Like Far Cry, I trust isn't going to do that because they've never done that with the villains. They're going to be everywhere.
Well, right. That Far Cry can't do that because their games are centered around their main antagonist.
The protagonists suck. They don't exist. They're supposed to be you.
Well, right. I mean, it's a game development. We were talking about it yesterday when we were talking about the new Final Fantasy Origins, where we were making the reference that it's kind of like Far Cry. Like, you're a blank slate. The main character, the playable character, you're a blank slate. You're not really integral to the story. What's integral to the story is the villain and how their choices affect the world that you're playing in.
Yeah.
And with, Anton Castillo, like, he looks terrifying.
And every role he's ever been in.
Right. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but...
You're not.
But, I mean, clearly the casting worked for me.
Yep.
And it sounds like the casting worked for you, so they did a good job. Hopefully it's not only a couple scenes.
It won't be.
It doesn't look like it's a couple scenes. It looks like they were like,
Far Cry's ever had a couple scenes with just the villain.
I mean, Voss was all over the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I didn't like the first game. I'm interested in trying this one, actually, though. I didn't like it. I didn't. Why give me the look?
What's wrong with you? It's tactics in the Mario and Rabbids universe. What's not to like?
Why is this a universe?
Why isn't it?
This game made me uncomfortable. Just watching
the trailer.
It's
very weird. It's very. The Rabbids have always been the weird entity in the Ubisoft library.
Even like the Nintendo, like the Mario characters are weird, like in and of themselves. When you add the Rabbids on top of them, I'm like,
it makes it weirder.
I'm like, what am I watching right now? This looks fun, but I'm scared.
Yeah,
it does look. The combat looks different compared to the first one.
It does look more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Unless you got more to say about it, Huey, I'm going to move on to Avatar. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. I mean, we didn't see anything other than like this is going to be cool. It's going to be Avatar. I do feel like this is a little too late though. Like who cares?
It's way too late.
Who cares about
Avatar 2 is never coming out. Anybody who believes it is, you're wrong. And when it does come out, then you can release this game.
I hope this is an actual game.
I feel
like this is a cash grab. Like, I love Marvel, but you know how when Iron Man came out, they came out with an Iron Man game for the PS3 or PS4, and when Thor came out, they came out with a Thor game, and they're just America. Like substandard. Like, hey, look, we have a video game that ties into our movie franchise. Don't you want to play this? I'm scared this is that.
Maybe this is Avatar 2.
But that's the thing. The Avatar universe actually is a universe that we should have been building in for the last...
Yes.
2008, right?
Yeah.
13 years since that movie came out. And all we have is Avatar? Are you kidding me? That movie is like... it's the biggest movie, right? Because they re-released it after Infinity War came out.
They're basically the biggest
Endgame. But you know what I mean? Like it's like it is like
it had the title for a very long time. Yeah, it had the title for a very long time.
It's in the top 3 actually. Right. Biggest grossing films of all time.
And they've done nothing with the property.
And he says he's got 6 movies planned.
So what if they never come out? You know, George R.R. Martin had 7 books planned, and we're still waiting on the Winds of Winter.
That's why I haven't bought the collection, because the last one will never come out. So moving on to the next game on this list here, we got Riders Republic, which is Ubisoft's follow-up to Steep. I think it's the Steep team doing this one, right? because they have crew
I
and Steep Team
imagine.
too. So Riders Republic is basically going to be just like Steep, where you can snowboard, you can ski, you can now mountain bike, which is a new thing. Jetpacks, rollerblades, like all kinds of crazy stuff. It's the over-the-top racing extreme sports, but it has the realistic stuff in it. Steep allows you to very chilly just do whatever you wanted, and I loved it. Huey's got a big concern about this one. What is it, Huey?
I'm gonna have to do the boring stuff I hated in Steep, like the wingsuit, the jetpack, the over-the-top.
They came out with a bobsled at one point.
Yeah. So the biggest thing they showed in the snowboarding was basically not a battle royale, but like
It was
a
like a
giant
Tony Hawk. Like,
yeah, a giant multiplayer, like you're in a skate park, but on snowboards, which doesn't work for snowboarding because you're not going downhill from what they saw. You're trying to like get up to the ramp and do a trick and be the top. And the biggest thing they kept saying was earn the stars to do more stuff.
Yeah.
The mountain bike racing looked awesome.
Although
that's
it looks
something
like
I'll
the
enjoy.
crew it looks like the crew to me, but extreme sports.
The problem I had with the mountain bike racing is like they went to first person, and I'm like, this is cool. Oh, I'd get so sick so quick.
I'm just worried that I'm going to be stuck going stupid slow on a snowboard to do tricks in a theme park style game.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I'm even gonna be giving this a try.
Oh, you're
I
joining
wanna go
us.
play. I
joining
want to
us.
go play the relaxing snowboarding game we talked about yesterday that Xbox is coming out with.
You're also
that
playing that.
one.
You're playing the
That
bullshit.
one looks like a fun way to relax. This one looks like a fun way to get my anxiety and blood pressure to rise.
Shank, we've decided you're leaving your job and you're just going to be playing games with us all day now.
Don't give him the hope.
You say this, but
But here we are. All right, so I'm excited for it. I love Steep. I love the crew. So them doing another game in this kind of fashion, I'm on board with. I wish they would just make a Crew 3 instead of continuing Crew 2 at this point because I have a lot of complaints
me
about Crew
too.
2 versus Crew 1. I loved Crew 1. Crew 2, I feel, just has a lot of problems. But moving on to the last thing on the announcement platter here, Ubisoft Film and Television. So if you have not been watching Mythic Quest, it is amazing.
I love it.
It's a hilarious show. I watched the entire first season with
Let
Natalie
me
and got
tell you why.
anytime. So there's a whole skit they do, Shake, about the power pose. And this is the power pose. If you don't know what to do with your hands, do the power pose. And the guy gives a whole speech about being the alpha male and doing the power pose. And every time Huey and I see someone do this, we now go to that joke, alpha male, power pose. And so we were watching the Capcom presentation, and the esports commentator girl is like, hello, let me tell you about Capcom. And me and Houston both went, power pose.
Shake's even got the look down on his face with the power pose. It's perfect.
Next time you're teaching at the hospital, Shank, I want you to, so let me tell you about surgery.
so, how are you doing today? Did you have anything to eat or drink this morning? Do you have any allergies?
You are terrifying. You are terrifying.
I don't want surgery anymore.
The show's incredible, though. They're on their second season. I'm loving it. I like this Werewolves Within looked funny. That's the other thing they announced. There's the movie they made.
Oh, it's a movie based off of a game.
Yeah.
Werewolf Within is a game.
Yeah, what game is it? I've
It's
heard
basically like Among Us, where there's imposters. So somebody's the werewolf, somebody's the sheriff, somebody's this, somebody's that. So it's basically the whodunit movie.
Okay. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. I just want to, I don't know what else to say other than I am excited for this.
So there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. Ubisoft is kind of doing something like Xbox Game Pass, are they not?
They've been doing it for the
They
last
have been
year,
for a
yeah.
while now,
And
yes.
I've actually recommended it to quite a few people who are interested in Ubisoft titles.
Are these new games going to be on it, or are they going to suffer from the Xbox?
No, they go straight to it day one.
They go straight to it day one?
Straight to it day one. Not only that, you get the ultimate
$15?
edition.
You get the ultimate
$15
editions.
a month.
And that's why I've recommended it to a lot of people who like to complain about cost of games right now. For $15 a month, you get countless open world games because that's literally the game they make. You have if you like open world games, you get multiple 100-hour games to play for 15
You just
bucks.
gotta like it on PC is all, because
Yeah.
it's only on PC.
I
know
actually
what?
recommend their service to a lot of people.
You know what? I might just be doing this in Xbox Game Pass, and that just might be where I get all my games from now
mean,
on. I'll just
it's a
wait.
great
I'll just wait for Sony to catch up to the whatever decade we're in.
Yeah,
The
when they
2020s.
make PlayStation Now viable.
Right. Like clearly they're falling behind at this point because I'm not gonna go. Like I will buy Horizon and I'll buy God of War, and that's probably it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Like,
I hate to
look how
say
many
it, but we
games
are
I have over the, and this is just the new releases from this year. Mm-hmm. I also have a backlog of games I could play from that are on their Game
Tons of the
Passes.
games that I've told you over and over, come play, talk about it. You get on the Game Passes. Hades, get it on your Xbox. Play it on Xbox now. You know, like all these games I've talked about, you can just go play.
Yeah. So I hope this is the future. I really hope this is the future.
I think it's better for the consumer, but they do need to come up with a better plan. I've heard a lot of complaints from developers when they do these kinds of things. Ubisoft and EA is all in-house, so it's kind of whatever. The companies are making the games regardless. When the Xbox One seems to have a lot of problems with developers, but I've recommended the Ubisoft One multiple times to anybody who plays on PC.
Aren't all the big corporations buying up all these developers anyways? Like,
Yeah,
isn't
pretty
that
much.
like the big push is to buy studios so that they're part of your in-house network?
Yeah.
That's why every
I mean-
Bethesda game is slowly coming out on Xbox Game Pass.
Right.
We were talking about, we had somebody come in when I was streaming Legion. They were like, oh, I don't want to waste $60 on Legion. And I was like, well, good news. Get the Ubisoft Pass. You can play Legion Ultimate Edition and Assassin's Creed that comes out in 2 weeks and Phoenix Immortal Rising that came out a week ago. And if you somehow beat all three of these in 3 months, you still are getting a better deal. That I'm like a used car salesman. If you can beat Phoenix Rising, Brawlhalla, and Legion in 3 months, it's still cheaper than buying all three of those games.
It's still cheaper than buying one of those games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go back to what I said yesterday. If you can find one game every 4 months that you like that is $60, you've
Yep.
made your money back.
Yep.
Like Valhalla, all of the DLC, everything they just talked about is on the Ubisoft Pass.
It's all there because you get the Ultimate Edition, so you have full access.
The only thing you don't get is their cosmetic stuff you can buy, and you have.
Well,
to
that's what
spend
they're
money on
hoping
that.
for. They're hoping you're going to go, because
Yeah.
all these games have cosmetics now. They're hoping you're going to go in there, buy a few of those. You know what I mean?
Which, I mean, that's the way microtransactions should work.
Yeah.
So, hey, I want to look like a fairy while I'm running around as a Viking.
Why would you
I
get the
will buy
fairy
that.
outfit? I have like the crazy like necromancer outfit when I'm running around.
Is there?
Yeah, you don't
is
look
there
like a
fairy
Viking.
outfit?
No. You know,
Nah, I don't think so.
Oh, I just made that up off the top of my
I'm
head.
female,
I was worried that there was a fairy.
I'm female Ivor, and I took her shirt off, so she just has her bra and like all this necromancer stuff, and I'm like, ah! I played 140 hours like that. It was fun.
I hope that your sound cut out the same way it did for me, because your sound completely cut out, and I just see you going.
Dylan cut his sound out.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us for today's Absolutely PlayStation and Steam Gamers discussion about the Ubisoft Forward conference. We'll be talking about more of them very soon. Check back on the channel for all of our coverage on E3. We're going to have a lot of roundup thoughts as well, including a long discussion about Game Pass, Ubisoft, and EA. See you guys next time right here. I'm Benny. That's Houston. And that is Shank. And if you want more content on the channel, tweet Houston.
Yeah,
Hey.
and that's snow cleaning himself.
Ew.